Today we're going to be working through Unit 3, Lesson 9, solving equations using more than one operation, found on pages 78 and 79. First, let's take a look at this equation. I notice that there are not one, but two operations, and I see right off the bat, it's pretty obvious we've got subtraction, right? But we've also got multiplication. And I remember that when we have a number right next to a variable, as we do in this case, that means they're being multiplied. To figure out what the variable is equal to, we're going to need to apply the inverse operation, and the opposite of multiplication is what? Division. And the opposite of the opposite of subtraction is what? Addition. So we're going to apply these concepts to solve for this next equation. So the first thing that we're going to need to do when we have two operations is first add or subtract. So we're always going to be adding or subtracting first. In this case, we're going to be adding because adding is the opposite of subtraction. And we know that if we do it from one side, we got to do it to the other. And that 7 plus 3 is 10. So the 3's, of course, cancel out. And now we're left with 5x equals 10. The next thing that we're going to have to do is the inverse operation, and I know that 5x is 5 times x, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 5, and it's going to look like this. The 5's are going to cancel out, so we're just left with x, and x equals what? Well, 10 divided by 5 is 2. This is our answer. Nice, let's keep practicing. Here we have another example of an equation with two operations. Again, we're always going to add or subtract first. In this case, we're going to be subtracting. I know that because I see we've got the plus 2, so we're going to do the minus 2. And if we do it to one side, we've got to do it to the other. The 2's cancel out. 2 minus 2 is 0. And on the right side, we're left with 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. We've also got y divided by 3. So if this is the division problem, we're going to need to multiply because multiplication is the opposite of division. Here I see we've got the 3's canceling out, so all that we're left with is y. And on the right side, 5 times 3 is what? 15. So y equals 15. That's our answer. Here we have another equation with two operations, so we know that we always need to do what first? That's right, adding or subtracting. And so I see that this is plus 3, so let's try minus 3. And if we do it from one side, we got to do it to the other. 3 minus 3 cancels out, so all we're left with on the right side is x. And this is a negative x. We can't forget that negative. And so negative x equals what? Negative 5 minus 3 is negative 8. So here we are. If we don't see a number in front of the variable, we can always put in that invisible 1. And I now see that this is a multiplication problem, and the opposite is division. So we're going to divide negative 1 on the right side. Let's divide negative 1 on the left side, and when we do that, the negative 1's cancel out. So all we're left with is x. And then we got the left side, right? Negative 8 divided by negative 1 is positive 8. Great. So this is our answer. We've solved for x. 5y minus 8 equals 12. We know that the first thing that we're going to need to do is add 8. And we know that because we're going to be adding or subtracting first, and that minus 8 is the opposite of plus 8. So we're going to add 8 to both sides. We also know that 8 minus 8 cancels out, and that we're only left with now 5y. 5y is equal to 12 plus 8, and 12 plus 8 is 20. Great. Now we're going to need to do one more operation. We're going to do the opposite of multiplication. We know that's multiplication because we see it's 5y. So the opposite of multiplication is division. Let's divide both sides by 5. We've got to do it to one, we've got to do it to the other. The 5's, of course, cancel out. And now we're left with simply y. And y is equal to what? 20 divided by 5 is 4. So we've solved this equation. We've figured out what the variable is equal to, and we're good to go. In just a few minutes, we're going to turn to page 79, and we're going to work on these problems together. First, however, let's take a look at number 1. I can see that this problem is going to require 2 operations, and I see it's 10x minus 4 equals 16. The first thing that we're going to need to do is add, because we always add or subtract first, and we're going to add 4 to the left side, we're going to add 4 to the right side. The 4's cancel out, and we're left with 10x equals what? 16 plus 4 is 20. I know that we're going to have to divide both sides by 10, and that ultimately x equals what? 20 divided by 10 is 2. So this is our answer to number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please let me know. I cannot wait to see your work. Good luck.